But first, thanks to our wonderful sponsors. I don't know if you just saw the news, but average U.S. household debt just hit $152,000. That's mortgages, cars, cards, student loans, but the national debt just hit $37 trillion. It's all going up. Ask yourself this: when the system hiccups, who bails you out? It's not the Fed, not the politicians.
West Michigan. Join the conversation now at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on Wood Radio.
All right, folks, here we go. Yet another day. It's never a dull moment. Boy, there's so much to discuss. And right here, lots of it happening in our own backyard. The bridge over troubled water connecting Canada and Mexico they're working on now. President Trump sounding off using it as a bargaining chip to get Canada to the table to negotiate trade talks. We'll talk about that. And the big endorsement, Kid Rock made, coming up in just moments with John James is running for governor. Coming up here after this, our big three.
News, weather, and traffic. And the biggest stories of the day. We're talking about what matters most in West Michigan and beyond. This is the Big Three. Now, today's Big Three.
Yeah, it's the stories we'll be talking about around the water cooler at the dinner table, no matter where you are, powered by our good friends at Heartland Home Mortgage. Dave Galloway and the team, you wanted to buy, refi, home equity line of credit? Dave can help you take care of it. The team there, as you've seen, interest rates headed down. We'll find out how they could impact your wallet in a very, very good way. HHMlending.com, or you can give them a call today. They're standing by. Heart of a teacher to help you. By the way, Trump making the news and making waves under that big Gordie Howe bridge that they're working on completing right now next to the Ambassador Bridge in Detroit. From Detroit to Ottawa there in Canada. It spans those concession talks. Trade talks are in focus. Trump issuing a sharp warning yesterday, declaring he will not allow the Gordie Howe International Bridge, a Canadian-funded crossing linking Detroit and Windsor, to open unless Canada immediately enters trade negotiations and major concessions. By the way, I think a lot of this was done on the Obama administration negotiations, and it is it's bad news. We got hosed in this whole thing. It's certainly a pure Michigan Democrat negotiation.
Number 2.
Day 10, still no sign of Nancy Guthrie. Savannah Guthrie, the daughter and NBC Today Show anchor, issuing another plea for the return of her mom in another video that's been posted on social media sites. Prayers for them as they continue to search for their mom. And then back home here in our own backyard, a new interim chief has been named here in Grand Rapids. That's Deputy Chief Joseph Trigg, also referred to as Joe. He's an interim police chief for the Grand Rapids Police Department now. The announcement coming yesterday from City Manager Mark Washington. Trigg's a 25-year veteran of the police department, currently serving as the Deputy Chief of Field Operations, assuming the role on March 2nd, 2026. That's the same day that Chief Winstrom will depart to become the police chief in Pensacola, Florida. Now, there's been a lot of talk about why Winstrom's out in the anti-cop sentiment behind his departure. Came up in an interview the other day. You want to hear some of that? Hang on, we're going to talk about it. Give you a chance to hear from the chief himself in that news conference that took place, I believe this was probably last week. In the meantime, I want you to give us a chance to give you the number and join the conversation at any time.
Call Justin now at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Reporter asking the chief, there's been some speculation on why you're leaving. And
the lack of clear support from the Public Safety Committee and other community leaders. I think he used the word far left. Any truth to that? So police chief's job.
Anyway, in other words, what the guy's saying is that some of this has been speculated. Someone has said that you're leaving. Part of it is the lack of support And some of it was described as this far left, anti-cop sentiment. And here's Winstrom.
It gets a lot easier when you're in a city that's just 100% pro-police. If everywhere I go, people are applauding, great job, police department, I'll tell you, that would be a lot easier. I didn't take a job for an easy job. I knew this was going to be a challenge. I didn't know we were going to have all the specific challenges that came about while I was here. I have a lot of colleagues across the country who work in cities that are more reflexively pro-police, and it is easier to get things done. I remember I feel like it was a big fight to get drones, which are just a basic tool of policing now. To jump through so many hoops to get the community support and politician support. I'll throw out one other example. Some of you may remember we had a docuseries come out where I thought it was a positive thing. A lot of people in the city thought it was a good idea to expose the city to a documentary series of what the police department does on a day-to-day basis, because if you're not riding with us, you don't really know, and there's a lot of misunderstanding. So docuseries comes out, and there were people that were mad that it was coming out, not because there was anything wrong with it, but because it showed us in a true light, which is a good light. And that was an odd thing for me. And even some elected officials, criticized us. You can't put out this docuseries because it's making you look good. So when you politicize policing, that's a recipe for failure. One thing I mentioned in Pensacola is show me a city across the country, anywhere, that is a high-performing, successful city, and I will show you a high-performing, successful police department. Those two go hand in hand, and intelligent politicians understand that. Intelligent politicians who want best for the city understand that. Politicians that maybe are out for themselves to score cheap political points will use policing to score cheap political points. Have I seen that here? Absolutely. Do I think that the next chief is in a position to even take it to the next step so that those voices get quieter and quieter because there's no merit to them?
I want to just point out something to you. This guy talking about how bad it is here, just a reminder. This guy came from Chicago. He came from Chicago. You think, he's seen it all. Apparently not. And how bad it got here. Now, he probably never would have taken the job if he thought it was going to be as bad as it has been. Well, these are things that ought to concern each and every one of us, especially as we move forward and they select a new chief. That process, who's involved, got to make sure that your voice is heard during it all and be involved in that process. We make sure that you, of course, we're going to dig in. We're going to make sure that you're along for the ride on all of it. That coming up in just moments. So don't go anywhere. We're also going to talk about this, like I said, the bridge over troubled water. Trump saying, hey, look at here, Canada. We better get this fixed before we move forward with any of this opening this bridge. They spent lots of money on it. It's another negotiating angle that he'll take. Art of the deal in progress. Stand by, folks. More of that coming up after this. It's West Michigan Live. Don't go anywhere. John James scoring a big endorsement in his run for governor here in Michigan. That, and he joins us next.
Informative, engaging. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Tuesday, February 10th. I'm Robin Kaufman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. Former Michigan Attorney General Mike Cox, who's currently running for the Republican nomination for governor, says our schools here in Michigan are failing too many children. He says it's not because the kids can't learn and not because teachers don't care, but because the system is built to protect adults and institutions before it serves our students. In other news, new data shows under Democrat Governor Whitmer, our state losing close to 20,000 jobs in January. Last month's job losses here in Michigan were the second highest among all states, despite close to $7 billion in authorized business subsidies since Governor Whitmer took office. For these stories and more, visit the Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
iHeartRadio.
Olympics update.
right, folks, welcome in. Want to say good morning real quickly. I can to the folks on all over the place because this Facebook debacle today. But thank you, locals, for hanging out with us. Critter, good to see you, Mando, Mark, Michigan, Joe. Thank you so much, Dina, Patriot Dean, one of the lifers. Thank you, my friend, over on Rumble this morning. Shizzy Wild Lassie. I see some of you guys are coming over from Facebook. Good to see you. Jackie Ray, Laura, thank you. 1769, Gary, appreciate you guys. Folks watching on the tube as well. Let's check in really quickly if we can. John James, Congressman, is with us right now. I'm going to do a quick test of the line here to make sure we're good to go. Congressman, good morning.
What's up, Justin? Thanks for having me back on.
All right, we don't, hang on. Let me click this. Let's try that. I got you now.
I hear you loud and clear. How about me?
Perfect.
Wonderful.
I thought we had a glitch in the system for a second, but that's not the case. We got about 15 seconds, and we're going to go live to you, okay, on the air here.
Sounds
Stand by.
wonderful.
Here we go.
Auto Law, auto accident attorneys. Visit autolaw.com.
That's autolaw.com.
Big announcement. In fact, coming out of the Super. You saw Kid Rock in the All American halftime show over the weekend, but he also made, and then just a big splash with that song he did, climbing the number one. I saw on the charts yesterday. That's incredible. But also making a big announcement for his number one in Michigan. John James, a congressman from the other side of the state, joining us now, running for governor here in Michigan with that coveted Kid Rock endorsement. Good morning, Congressman. How are you?
Good morning, Justin. I'm blessed and highly favored. How are you today?
Amen. Yeah, me too. Feeling good. You know, there's a lot going on. Want to talk about that endorsement. I also want to talk about this Trump announcement with the bridge. You've got some other major news you're making as well. So let's dive in. It's probably pretty much of an honor to get an endorsement like that. I'm assuming you guys have known each other for a while. What was that like?
Yeah, Kid Rock's a patriot, and he's a man of God who loves Detroit, he loves Michigan, and he loves the United States of America. And he's going to do anything and everything in his power to make sure that he helps to make America great again, helps to make Michigan great again. And his support means a lot to me personally, and I think can go a long way in reminding folks that we're ahead in the polls by 40 points and the only Republican candidate in the state beating both Democrats. And that's really important when you're talking about things like making our economy stronger and fixing the things that the Whitmer administration has broken over the past 7 years. I'm super excited to have Kid Rock's endorsement, and I'm very proud of him and his courage for standing up on stage and proclaiming the name of Jesus to the entire world. That's a message that we all need to hear. And Kid Rock is definitely a leader, and he's definitely been a friend to me. So I'm honored to have his endorsement, and looking forward to getting to work with him and with everyone else in our state to make Michigan great again.
Yeah, it is. It was a very cool night to watch that, and I think, as you mentioned, I think a lot of people were really struck by that moment, and those streams and album purchases right now prove that. Hey, you just mentioned Governor Whitmer in the last 8 years. We've been watching some of the things coming together, and right now this is top of the news. Like, we couldn't have planned it better. But President Trump issuing that statement on Truth Social about the not the Ambassador Bridge, but the Gordie Howe Bridge. And the sort of the deal that went down, if you know the history about this, how everything's worked out, it really kind of looks like we got a raw deal here as America and Michigan in some ways as well. But the president using this sort of as a bargaining chip to dig into the art of the deal. What do you make of that?
Yeah, Justin, you hit the nail right on the head. President Trump is the best deal maker in the world, and he recognizes what's at stake here. China knows that on President Trump's watch, they're not going to continue to send illegals through our southern border to conduct cyber espionage in our country, and to use little nodes and nodules like Goshen to get under our security into our manufacturing. They're sending people who voted in our elections. Chinese nationals voted in our elections under Jocelyn Benson. And you also have spy activities in Grayling. That's not happening under President Trump's watch. And so the CCP is going after a softer target. They're going after Canada. They're going to be dumping their cars into Canada. They're going to be having closer access to the United States of America through Canada. And guess what? Michigan's a border state, a northern border state. And President Trump understands how vital it is, not only for our economy, but also for our national security, to make sure that our neighbors are aware of that. So President Trump is using every means and method at his disposal to secure America's economy and our national security. And he is going to be negotiating with our friends, our family, our neighbors in Canada to make sure that North America, the Western Hemisphere, is secure from outside interference. We're going to be working close to the White House to make sure that they have the resources that they require, while also making sure that Michigan workers and farmers are not negatively affected by any of the malign CCP activity.
John James, congressman from Michigan, running for governor here as a Republican. And talking about the issues that matter most. Well, one of the bigger issues, specifically over the last 4 or 5 years or more, has been this issue of parents' rights. I know you guys had a big announcement about this. In fact, yesterday, it's the Parents' Bill of Rights for Michigan. Explain what this covers, because we've heard it all, from what's happening into the classroom to the medical decisions that are being made. All of these things are so critical right now. And as a dad, I know you really gotta see that through.
So I think that I'm a lot like many of your listeners, many of your viewers, whose lives were changed by the words of Charlie Kirk. His words and his wisdom, I believe, are divinely inspired when he reminded us where the truth comes from. And the truth is that God created 3 relationships. First, the relationship between God and man. And second, the relationship between man and woman. And third, the relationship between parents and children. Our rights are derived. They are endowed to us by our Creator, and they are supposed to be guaranteed and protected by the government. Sadly, in the state of Michigan, only 2 of those institutions are protected. But children and the rights of parents are not. We are going to be protecting the rights of parents based upon 3 key principles. 1, kids cannot consent, Justin. 2, parents have a right to know. And 3, another common sense. If adults can't talk to other adults about sex at work without consent, and many times with it, why is it that adults can talk to children about sex at school without parental consent? That's insane. And so we're going to be doing things to make sure that we protect the innocence of children in the state of Michigan. And these are just 4 articles in our Bill of Rights that are going to go back to making sure that parents can direct the education. Parents can direct how they raise their family. Parents can direct the future and the stability of their children, not the government.
I mean, that's just common sense to me. I don't know how we've gotten so far off of this. But it's time to bring it back, and the party of truth, logic, and common sense is here today. And by the way, there's so many people are waking up to this. I think you're right. I think through these last few years, boy, we really had a wake up call, and lots of folks coming to the table. Congressman John James, I know you're crisscrossing the state. You're talking to folks. You're kissing hands, shaking babies, or maybe it's the other way around. But you were talking, and you're hearing all kinds of things. What else, before we let you go, is high atop the list for people as they talked about these major issues with you in Michigan?
Now, we chose to lead off with our ethics and integrity agenda. We chose to lead off by doing our best to make sure that people know that I'm going to be leading by example. Among the things I'm doing is I'm going to be leaving my finances open to the people in the state of Michigan, just like I'm doing in Congress, because it's important for me to earn back your trust, for you to believe in your governor again, because Gretchen Whitmer has squandered all of that trust. And so you're going to be seeing my personal finances, so you know the decisions that I'm making as governor are in your best interest, not my own. And then we went to the Parental Bill of Rights. So you know that my understanding of local control and the best form of local control is trusting you, because I don't trust a government that doesn't trust me, and you shouldn't either. And so we led with those two things. But we're going to be coming out with other things like education and the things that I'm hearing around the state. My goodness, energy. Property taxes and housing. These are things that are popping up all over the state that we're going to be addressing. So yes, I've been to counties in West Michigan, in Southeast Michigan, up into the Thumb. We're going to be going to the UP very, very soon, which we're also tax-paying property owners up in the UP. We've had a camp up there for over 30 years. And so I'm excited to continue to get around the state to listen and learn before we lead. And it's just so exciting. If you'd like to learn more about where we're going or what we're doing, go to johnjamesmi.com. Again, johnjamesmi.com. I'm the only Republican, up 40 points on the primary opponents, and the only Republican beating both Democrats. And if you want to fix your state, then we need to elect someone in the primary who can actually win the general.
John James, Congressman from the other side of the state, running for governor here and having a great conversation this morning. We thank you for being here. And, of course, put the website up so folks can get that in the stack again. Big announcement, big endorsement from Kid Rock this weekend. And, as always, we appreciate you being here. Thank you for taking the time. And, come back. We love to hear more from you as you're out there on the trail. We know there's a lot of hard work that's got to happen from here until primary day. But also, boy, this year couldn't be more critical for the state of Michigan, just like 2024 was for us nationally.
Hey, Justin, if you don't mind, I'd like to butt in for a second. We're going to be voting on the Save America Act this week. So the next time I come back, we're going to be talking about the importance of election integrity when you have a Jocelyn Benson who's a proven cheater in elections, and we're going to be holding her accountable. And we're going to make sure that we're going to be voting and making sure our elections are secure so we don't repeat the same mistakes of the past.
Yeah. Do you think, I've heard that this is going to look like it might be a unanimous Republican unanimous vote here. It looks like it's going to go through pretty well, and as it should.
That's right. That's right. Jocelyn Benson admitted to letting over a dozen illegals vote in our elections, and Tony Forlini just found 14 illegals who have voting history, and that's just in one county over the past 4 months. The corruption goes deep and wide with Jocelyn Benson, and now she's going to be presiding over an election where she's running at the top of the ticket. We cannot turn a blind eye to the corruption in Lansing. We're going to root it out. We're going to audit. And before that happens, we're going to make sure we use every tool at our disposal to make them abide by the local, state, and federal law. People in the state of Michigan deserve free and fair elections, and it's up to us to make sure we earn their trust back.
John James, always a pleasure, Congressman. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
God bless. Back with more, folks. Don't go anywhere. We're just getting started. The conversation continues next, and you can join us 616-774-2424.
Breaking down the story. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Sun, 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 fun, 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 sun, sun, sun.
That boat show music.
Righty then. All right, let me answer some questions. Yes, I can see your comments on YouTube and X and Rumble and Locals. I can even see your comments on Getter. So have no fear. Let me give you, if I can, let me do a quick update on Facebook. Because it's a doozy. All right. So for those of you that don't know, and if you found your way in here today, and maybe you normally you watch on Facebook and you're like, what the heck happened? I can't find Justin anywhere. Well, about somewhere midway through the first hour yesterday, about 9:30 or so, our stream just got abruptly cut off. And people started saying, I got booted out. I got kicked out. Well, no, you didn't get booted out. The stream got booted off. Now, this is very rare. I can't think of the last time this happened to the extent that it happened. We were right smack dab in the middle of the conversation about how J.D. Vance wasn't booed at the Olympics. And so it may have been a copyright issue, or it may have been they didn't want us telling you the truth. We don't know. We don't know exactly what happened. But I will tell you this. It's happened before. Facebook is notorious for things like this. And that is why, going all the way back to when we began this program, we have put you on all these different platforms. We've made sure that we made them available to you. So you can watch on Locals. You can watch on Rumble. You can watch on X. You can watch on YouTube. Those are a couple of different places. You can also watch on my website, justinbarclay.com. But I dug into this yesterday. Facebook does have this is actually an improvement. They have a way now where you can talk to people. Sort of. So you can have a chat with support. And I go online and type it all in. And I say, I don't know what happened, but how do I fix this? Essentially. And they didn't know. This is the really disturbing part. Even that we even pay for some of this. Brian's over on X. X is not the best format for live chats. It's a little weird, and it's not the best when it comes to like talking to other people. YouTube's probably the best. Well, excuse me. Rumble's probably the best. Locals, I've heard like mixed bags about Locals and Rumble. They're the same company. But YouTube is second for like just the integration into the software that I use for me being able to see it. On your user experience, I know it's going to vary for everyone. X is probably not the favorite for people that want to chat. Lots of people watch, but they don't really chat as much on X. I saw that, Jessica. Jessica says there's one troll here talking to itself here. That's funny. All right, so I'm going to get back into the program here in about 3 minutes. But again, this is what Facebook told us. They don't know what happened. We're under a temporary restriction, is what they called it. That restriction could get lifted at any moment. So we don't know. Could be in minutes, could be hours. It could be days from now. It could be months. We don't know. I don't suspect that. I suspect that it will probably be remedied sooner than later, fairly shortly. But I just don't know. So in the meantime, like I said, I am very happy that we have other alternatives for you. And I'm very happy that you've joined us on those alternatives. Thank you for doing such. I really appreciate it. Okay. Facebook, yeah, it's a little suspect. I'll just put it that way. I don't know what to tell you. And I have a love-hate relationship with Facebook. I really do. I have this love-hate relationship with it. Anyway, all right, that's it. Just a moment away here, folks, from jumping back on the air here. If you're watching the live behind-the-scenes live stream with us, no matter where you're watching, say hey in the chat. Getter, I even have you folks up. Trying to do better with Getter to give y'all a shout-out every now and then. Usually Mama Boom's over there hanging out. A couple of folks are the regulars there. But thank you so much for being here with us, and we will continue our conversation momentarily. Please stand by. Here we go. About 45 seconds left. Yes, sir.
Provide a will and trust at no charge to you. Here in Grand Rapids, call 616-373-3000 or online at guardingyournestegg.com.
Advisory services offered through Talent Private Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Hey, it's Glenn Beck, and you're listening to West Michigan Live with our good friend Justin Barclay. The Glenn Beck program coming up at 10 on Wood Radio.
Some things just aren't comfortable. Some things are just, well, they're just not. I hate to say it, but everything can be more comfortable in those personalized arch supports from the Good Feet store. They help power the program and me today and every day to keep me on my feet in comfort, with confidence. If you've had issues like me throughout the years, it's plantar fasciitis or leg pain, back pain, whatever you're dealing with. The truth is you don't really have to keep doing that. If you're just trying to get more steps in to make your New Year's resolution stick, or maybe you're like me and I'm down over 20 pounds now since the just my new phase of making Justin healthy again. It's like a Maha, but starts right in your own backyard kind of thing. The Good Feet store can help. And walk in today and see what they can do for you on 28th Street, right in front of Costco. Try them on for size. See how good you're going to feel. Or in Portage on Westnedge in front of Kohl's, the Good Feet store. Walk in today and see for yourself. Oh, yeah, and tell them I sent you. Now, normally we do a Tech Talk Tuesday here today, but we are unable to do that today. And we'll be checking in with Trent probably in the next few days, maybe the next week or so. But I wanted to just give you the update on that. Just a heads up. He's not going to be with us today. But I will tell you this. I've got some stories that were sort of, some of these were a little bit left over from yesterday. We had some Olympic stuff. We had some stuff from Minnesota over the weekend. There were some Super Bowl things as well. But we also had some Epstein, which I might be able to mix in at the end of the show. It's kind of interesting. But there was one thing. I think I got a chance to share some of this on my way out the door yesterday. There was one or two things that I thought were really interesting that you probably didn't get a chance to see everywhere else. And this was from CNN. It was Van Jones. He was talking to this black woman and a panel of black voters about would they vote for Trump again?
If you had to do it all over again, would you vote for Donald Trump again, yes or no?
Yes, I would. Mm-hmm. Now, in the future, I am not a diehard Democrat or diehard Republican. If there were a Democratic candidate who was more aligned for me, then I would vote Democrat.
If you go back in time, would you vote for Donald Trump, yes or no?
Yes.
I think I might know the answer on this next.
She said yes. It's immediately yes. No, I'm sorry.
If you had to do it all over again, would you vote for Donald Trump, yes or no?
1,000% absolutely yes.
If you had to do it all over again.
I just think that it's incredible because at the center of this was putting to bed this idea that there is some sort of buyer's remorse among Trump voters or among black Trump voters, Trump voters at all. There is no buyer's remorse. In fact, what we're seeing is the exact opposite. And lots of folks, I think anyway, lots of folks are finally having their voices heard in a way that they just never have before. They just haven't had access. The media really hasn't been interested. Let's be completely honest with you. They just really haven't been interested in telling you all these things, but now you know. And the economy. It's the economy, stupid. Yesterday we heard another number that was kind of jaw-dropping A poll released finding the percent of Americans saying they're better off now than they were 4 years ago. Numbers are through the roof. In 2024, the number of Americans saying, yeah, we're better off now than we were 4 years ago, that was negative 21. In 2025, negative 9. Today, it's plus 4. That is a massive swing. Up 25 points since 2024 and since Biden. We're also getting some more economic news that tends to at least look more healthy, more happy for the economy. Things are a bit of on an upswing right now. Of course, only time will tell. You know, got to be a little bit. I think you do. It's wise, at least anyway, to be a little bit. I don't want to say skeptical. That's probably not the word I'm looking for. But yeah, you got to be a little bit more prudent. You got to be wise. Watch it all play out, because I know Trump has the best intentions, but you don't know what's happening behind the scenes and how some of this ends up shaking out. So those are two big stories you're not hearing anywhere else. Are you ready for some more? Here's some Epstein. You're not hearing anywhere else. You probably heard, whether or not today or yesterday, but Ghislaine Maxwell, this is Epstein's so-called girlfriend. Ghislaine Maxwell testified yesterday in front of Congress. She was interviewed. There was a bit of a hearing. She essentially pled the fifth during the whole thing. I plead the fifth. It was almost kind of like a Hillary Clinton. Matter of fact, that may have who she got her instructions from. I don't recall. I don't recall. In fact, I think I want to say that James Comer was asked about this yesterday, and he said, it's kind of disappointing because we didn't get the answers that we wanted to get. She wasn't able to, but her lawyer says if she gets a pardon, she'll spill the beans. Sure. I don't see Trump giving her a pardon anytime soon. I really don't. I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't think you're going to be seeing that anytime soon at all. Now, here is Comer talking about this, and you'll hear what he has to say and what she had to say yesterday.
And refused to answer any questions. This obviously is very disappointing. We had many questions to ask about the crimes she and Epstein committed, as well as questions about potential co-conspirators. We sincerely want to get to the truth of the American people and justice for the survivors. That's what this investigation is about.
Now, here's another story. Again, you're just not going to hear this. You're not going to hear this on the nightly news. You're not going to hear this from Lester Holt or Anderson Cooper or any of the rest of them. But it was just discovered inside the massive dump of files that just came out, the most recent one. It is confirmed, just as we've heard for years, Trump did blow the whistle on Jeffrey Epstein in a 2006 phone call with the police. The quote, Trump was one of the very first people to call. Trump said Ghislaine Maxwell is, quote, evil and, quote, focus on her. Again, this is from inside the files. This is something dated 2019. I guess this is a piece. There's so much inside these files. You almost don't even know what you're looking at, but you have to really study these carefully. Democrats, folks on social media that want to go back and forth with you on this stuff, they do not want to address what is probably the biggest elephant in the room on this, which is this inconvenient truth, and unfortunate for them. Here's the testimony in the file. Knew Epstein was disgusting. Trump said Maxwell was Epstein's operative. Quote, she is evil, and to focus on her. Trump told blank that he was around Epstein once when teenagers were present, and Trump got that, quote, heck, except he didn't say that, out of there. Trump was one of the very first people to call when people found out that they were investigating Epstein. No one could explain how Epstein made his money. They knew he worked for Bear Stearns. Blank was told that Epstein was kind of a technical guy that would make it happen, but you didn't want to know how. Well, apparently now we do. At least part of this we understand now how he did. Anyway, some of the news coming out, and of course you're not going to get it anywhere else because like I said, I guarantee CNN, MSDNC, or whatever it's called now. No, they're not. They're just not going to be on this. They're not going to share it. They're not interested in the truth. More of it on the way. Truth, logic, and common sense coming up after this. We are back next on West Michigan Live. Don't go anywhere.
Tackling the hot button issues with style. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Now, looking at the markets all over the road recently, we've cracked 50,000 of the down. Of course, we had a little bit of a back and forth yesterday, but we're up again 200 points today in the Dow, hitting a fresh record for the third straight day. Some red on the S&P and the NASDAQ here and there, but it doesn't have to feel like a roller coaster ride, no matter what you're doing to get ready for retirement. The folks at guardingyournestegg.com, Talon Wealth, Mike Lester, and the team, they want to make sure you're ready, no matter when that is, 10, 20 years down the road. Maybe it's today or tomorrow. Maybe you're ready to go now. They take a holistic approach, and they will walk with you throughout the entire process. Just reach out today and find out how they can help you. Guardingyournestegg.com or call 616-661-1000. That's 616-661-1000 or online at guardingyournestegg.com.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Tuesday, February 10th. I'm Robin Hoffman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. More economic failure to tell you about here in Michigan at the hand of Democrat Governor Whitmer. Our state losing close to 20,000 jobs in January. Last month's job losses here in Michigan were the second highest among the states, despite close to $7 billion in authorized business subsidies since Governor Whitmer took office. Former Michigan Attorney General Mike Cox, who's currently running for the Republican nomination for governor, says our schools here in Michigan are failing too many children. He says it's not because the kids can't learn or because teachers don't care, but because the system is built to protect adults and institutions before it serves our students. More on this story at the Midwesterner.news. And President Trump scheduled to meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House Wednesday to discuss Iran. For these stories and more, visit the Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
Club Kino Tripler time is...
All right, folks, rolling right along, the fastest hour on radio, flying by. Appreciate you being here with us today and chatting in the behind-the-scenes live stream. Gritter over on Locals and the VIP, which if you haven't done so yet, you may want to join us. Just $9 a month right now. You can help support the program and everything we do. You get all the secret show prep that comes out early. You never go down if there's an issue with Facebook, right? There's never a problem here. Of course, we'll read your comments and whatnot first, and then you get all the Locals First and Locals Exclusive perks that we give out as well. So thank you for your support. Gritter's one of those lifers as well. We got Hawks and Falcons regular. Our cats aren't eating the squirrels, the birds of prey. They're having interesting conversation right now. Over here. I just hope. Oh, that's really cool. Dina's got pictures of her woodpeckers up in the bird feeders. That's a really cool picture. Those birds, those woodpeckers, in fact, that's Wood's mascot going back in like 100 years ago. Look at this, folks. These woodpeckers They are really, when they fly, I've seen a few of them in my backyard. They kind of like swoop in. When they fly, they're really cool to watch. And especially they're on the feeder too. But that's part of the action happening over on the VIP right now. JustinBarkley.com/VIP if you want to go in and say, hey, love to have you inside. $9 a month. Join for a whole year. You'll get a month free. You'll get a copy of my book, Good News, Hope and Encouragement for Trying Times. Love to send that your way. And jump in. Very, very interesting stuff going on. By the way, we were just talking about Epstein. Glenn has an update about some of the wilder conversation. I want to get into this after the show. He talked about it yesterday, but it really, to me anyway, was one of the most, there's a couple of things that have come out that are really kind of jaw-dropping. And I don't mean like the files that are said, this creep did that or this creep did this or whatever it might be. But there's some stuff that's come out about, well, it begs the question, is the guy still alive? And I know that sounds weird to ask. It really is. It sounds weird to ask that question, but it is worth it. And boy, the answers we're getting back are something. All right, back on the air here, folks. Stand by. Here we go.
Now on our iHeartRadio app, powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto accident attorneys. Visit autolaw.com.
That's autolaw.com.
Powered today and every day by the folks at Mentality Health. LowTUSA.com. Man, you matter. That's the long and short of it. We need you back in the fight each and every day to be the best husband, the best father, the best in your calling on a daily basis, showing up to work wherever you are, like you were created to, like you were meant to. Get back in the fight. Go to lowtusa.com and find out how the folks at Mentality can help you today. That's lowtusa.com. But do it today, because like I said, we need you. One of the folks in the fight, Kristen Megan Kelly, jumping on the line this morning with a big event coming up and in short order. Kristen, welcome in. We appreciate you. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Just looking forward to promoting this amazing event that we're having. Actually, on the east side of the state, it's the Grand New Party's Washington Day dinner ran by their PAC. And it is featuring, I am the MC for the event. Ryan Kelly will be there. But we have Stuart Rhodes, founder of Oath Keepers and constitutional Yale Law graduate, and Joe Biggs, former InfoWars host and Proud Boys organizers, who are going to be able to really convey their side of the truth, which goes against, the headlines and the Fedsurrection. So I happen to be friends with both of these gentlemen for a long time. So it's great that I'm going to be the MC, and tickets are very affordable, Justin. You can get your early bird tickets right now for $60. There are also very affordable sponsorships for candidates who want to really showcase who's the true grassroots. And with this, you will get drink tickets. You will get dinner, and this is going to be in Redford at Steffen's Banquet Center. And if you just go to GNP PAC for Grand New Party PAC, PAC.US, you will see an events tab, and that's where you can secure your tickets and get some more information.
Kristen, you just mentioned, in fact, January 6th, obviously that'll be part of the conversation. But I just saw this. This is really interesting. We're learning now, I think it's Catherine Herridge. I think that's who did it. Because this whole, every day we learn something new, right? And I'm sure you wake up and you go, yep. We're right about that one too. But she has this breaking bombshell revelation. Catherine Herridge going public with explosive allegations. CBS executives deliberately buried the Hunter Biden laptop story, ordered her to wait until after 2022 and the midterms to help the Democrat Party. And I just thought it was interesting because it's the same with everything else. It's the same with COVID. It's the same with what happened January 6th. It's the same story, just a different day on each one of these topics. But it's funny because when she discusses this and describes it, she sort of takes you behind the scenes to show you how the sausage is made, blowing the whistle. Wanted you to take a listen to
We eventually broadcast the story
knows
of
how to
Hunter
blow the
Biden
whistle.
laptop after the midterm elections in 2022. We commissioned a forensic review. I got a copy of the laptop data. I have it here still. I went to a lot of effort to get the cleanest copy of the laptop data, the same data that was provided to the FBI, because I didn't want to have any professional journalistic risk for CBS News. I wanted this thing to be totally locked down. When we did the story, we did it after the midterms. I argued against that because it was ready before the midterms. And my training is that you should always do the story when it's ready to go. You should not be dictated by the political cycle. Once we got the laptop story on the morning news, I felt that there was so much there that we could still do. For example, in the text messages, there's unfortunately the use of the N-word, the liberal use of the N-word. And I thought this was worthy of a story, but I was told that it was not something that interested.
You imagine if they had that on Trump or anybody else for that matter. And when she says the liberal uses it, she doesn't mean that in a political way. She meant it was used quite often. And well, I just bring this up, Kristen, because you're familiar with blowing the whistle. Here she is sharing this story and what happened to her. But this should be no surprise to any and all of us, I would imagine.
Right. At this point, I'm just clutching my pearls on the daily. But, at least it's coming out now because it totally discredits what we already know as the mainstream narrative. And I think it's equal ill will on both sides. And this is why people need to look at more alternative media podcasts like yours. Because one thing, Justin, is you are I know you have a personal political bias, but you allow any discussion. That's how you are very reminiscent with Charlie Kirk. And that's why I have a lot of respect for you, that you will have people be able to engage with you. And that really just opens the curtain to what you're doing in media. And that is exactly what happened to these two gentlemen with Stuart and Rhodes and Joe Biggs. You would have thought they were like militant extremists and violent people. They're both fathers. They're both, true oath keepers. They're veterans. And, people have to remember with the new perspective of we have a right to administratively stand up against tyranny. And that's all these gentlemen were trying to do. And actually, Stuart has history that you'll learn about in protecting the speech of others at events that he totally disagreed with. So this is going to be a great grassroots and candidate networking opportunity. Justin, I will tell your viewers, if they follow me on Facebook at Kristen Megan Kelly, it is the pin post on my Facebook page. Again, you can secure those early bird tickets on my Facebook or gnetac.us under the events tab.
All right, Kristen, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here with us and shining a light on the event. We'll make sure it gets posted up as well. Thank you, my friend. Talk to you soon.
Thanks.
You got it. Fastest hour on radio flying by. Speaking of which, we got some Epstein updates we want to get to on the way. And, just sharing this. Glenn shared some of this yesterday, but there's stuff in these files that is even more wild than I think some of the stuff you've heard yet. We'll talk about that during the after show. Don't go anywhere. It's coming up.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses. We forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, deliver us from evil. God is the kingdom, power, and glory forever and ever. Amen. Amen.
Glenn Beck program is next. Make it a great one, folks. God bless.
From the retirement experts at Matson Financial Studio.
All righty then. All right, let's click a few buttons. We'll get the show fired up here. So if you're sticking around, you're watching the behind the scenes live stream, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. We've been about 24 hours now since the initial action taken on us on Facebook. I wonder if let's see if it's possible. maybe let's see, just before I fire it up, let's just see if it's possible that they'll let us stream now. It doesn't hurt to try. And then it would give you bookers, your regular bookers, a heads up on whether we're gonna be good to go or not for tomorrow. All right, here we go. Let's give this a shot. Boom. Get ready to strap in. It's going to be a heck of a ride. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Never a dull moment, but yes, you'll hear the stories you won't hear anywhere else, and we appreciate you being here with us for them today. I'm Justin Barclay. Yeah, welcome into the after show, the show after the show, folks. Never a dull moment. Never enough time. We're working through a Facebook ban right now. We got booted yesterday, but ladies and gentlemen, wait a minute. I have some good news. I have some good news for the bookers. The after show is up. The ban is over. Holy smoke. I don't know what to say. The ban is over. We're live on Facebook. How did that happen? Wow. Thank you for your prayers. We got some good people praying for us. We got some good people watching us and watching over us. So I'll say it like that. Hey, any of you folks that love the book and want to Facebook, you want to chat right there, jump on over, give it a shot right now. Charlene says, I see you. Charlene's the first comment. Good job. Hey, I didn't know. I'm telling you, this Facebook thing, there's a reason why we do everything we can to make sure that we give you different options and alternatives. And now you know why, because who knows what Facebook is going to do at any moment of the day. All right, that being said, let's get into the after show. The show after the show. Thank you so much, folks, for being here with us and for supporting this program. You know, something weird happened to me yesterday. I'm going to tell this story tomorrow because we got Maha Missy. We're going to have another Maha Missy update, and we got some good news. I actually got some good stuff coming through. But I was getting ready. You know, when I come home, I kind of take everything. I know I get comfortable. I take everything, like my watch or sometimes I leave my watch on, but sometimes my rings, keys out of my pocket, stuff like that, right? Because I don't like walking around with all that stuff anyway. But I came home and I took all that off, my ring and all this. And I was putting it back, like I said, run out and run an errand for Lizzie. She needed some stuff. And I honestly I had to get a couple of things too. But she needed some stuff for their homeschooling co-op school they're doing. Like it's like Valentine's Day, all the kids are getting their cards and some candy and napkins and stuff like. So she needed a couple of things. I ran out and got it for her. Anyway, that doesn't matter. What matters is I put my ring on, and then I went to do something else. I swung my arm, and then the ring whoosh came flying off my finger. I'm just here to warn you, folks. You get in with this My Pure Health Solutions, and your transformation gets underway. Things are going to change, and in a hurry. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. So now I got a new problem. I got to figure out how to fix my ring to keep it on. Now, I also wear, you probably see this from time to time. The reason is I started wearing my wedding ring back from, the actual ring back from, when we first got married. I started wearing that recently again. Well, it's too big. My fingers have shrunk. So now I'm back to these rubber ones that I wear quite a bit too. I go back and forth with it. But I'm telling you, it's one of those side effects and a good one that you want to have. You know, Lizzie's like, I can definitely see your face is thinning out. You look, she's like, you look great. So clothes are fitting better. All of that good. You could see the scale moving. That's all great. But the thing that to me is the best is I feel like $1 million. We'll talk about that tomorrow. We're going to get into that story and I'll give you a full update on where I'm at. But I want you to know. Join us at healthwithjustin.com if you want to get back on track. Making America healthy again starts with you. It starts with you. Right in our own backyard, we've got to take those steps with each other to get to where we want to go. And I'd love to have you join us because you're just going to be amazed at how good you can feel. You really don't realize it until you get moving and get into it. So I told you about this earlier, and I saw some of these things. So really, there's some things that are in these Epstein files that are very concerning, and some things that have been discovered subsequently since the files have been released that are really concerning. One of those is the question: is Jeffrey Epstein still alive? And I'm not my tinfoil hat. Occasionally, I'll pull it out, right? But it is it's not something that I wear too often and too tightly. I got to loosen that thing up every now and then. But I do. I ask questions, critical thinker, and I ask that folks would do the same. And some of these things that are in the files or have been discovered are asked. They're really begging what's really going on. I'll lay some of that out for you in a second. First, here's Glenn talking about something they discovered on the videotape from the.
So now let me give you the latest mistake. This one came out over the weekend. United States Attorney's Office, Southern District of New York. U.S. Attorney Jeffrey S. Berman for immediate release. Friday, August 9th, 2019. Statement of Manhattan U.S. Attorney on the death of defendant Jeffrey Epstein. Manhattan U.S. Attorney Jeffrey S. Berman said earlier this morning the Manhattan Correctional Center confirmed that Jeffrey Epstein, who faced charges brought by this office of engaging in sex trafficking of minors, has been found unresponsive in his cell and pronounced dead shortly thereafter. Today's events are disturbing, and we are deeply aware of their potential to present yet another hurdle to giving Epstein's many victims their day in court. Okay, so what's wrong with that? I said it right at the beginning. Friday, August 9th. He died, and the release that looks like this one is clearly marked on the day he died, Saturday, August 10th. Now, this is being reported as not a mistake. This is just part of the dump. Can you give me a timestamp on when this was done? The answer is yes. You can tell when a document was drafted. Why is there no timestamp? If it's a mistake, why not include a timestamp? Or was this a rough draft just in case something might happen? You know, you shouldn't put prisoners into a cell where you have to write their death story just in case. What the hell is that all about?
He makes a very interesting case.
So now let me give you.
There's something about an orange blob outside where I'm hearing all of this different stuff. Okay. There's a video camera that may or may not have caught somebody moving outside of his cell at some point. Here's some other things that are just, they just kind of make you go, Remember that song, Things That Make You Go, All right, so here's another one, okay? There is a question about whether or not he is still alive based on, we told you was it last week, that there was a report of a van coming to drop off or pick someone up that day. That never gets done. The guard reported it. He said it never happens on the weekends. And this was originally put up on 4chan, I think it was. This was years ago. People just sort of dismissed this as some sort of like conspiracy theory, somebody just messing around. In the documents the FBI dug through, they were able to confirm this guy was really who he said he was. He actually was a guard there. Things that makes you go, All right, here's another one. I'm not familiar completely with I'm not completely familiar with all these video games, but let me lay this other one. There's a video game out. I think it's Fortnite. And there's this guy, apparently Jeffrey Epstein's. I don't know if this is true, but supposedly like to play this video game. And one of the stories that we're hearing and seeing right now, it's kind of compelling. Now, again, what I'm telling you, I don't know for a fact. I don't know this to be 100% true. But what I will tell you is somebody using Jeffrey Epstein's Fortnite login. Let me just make sure I got this right. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. Somebody using Jeffrey Epstein's Fortnite login account has been active online. There are reports, I'm reading this right now from X. There are reports of Epstein's Fortnite account active in Israel. The username Littlest Jeff 1. That is in recently released Epstein files, where the account bought $25.95 worth of V-Bucks on May 7th, 2019. Now, if you're a gamer, maybe you can explain some of that to us. I don't really know what that means. The account is, in fact, linked, they say, to Jeffrey Epstein himself through receipts. In the recently unsealed Epstein files, these documents include a YouTube subscription, such as a receipt for UFC Select, addressed directly to Littlest Jeff 1, confirming it is his username there. People online match this exact username to a Fortnite profile on Fortnite Tracker, which is a website where I guess you can look at people's their gamer tags and whatnot. It shows stats like Silver 1 rank in Chapter 5, Season 1, post 2019. By the way, this particular game was only released after his death in 2019, they say. So they're like, you know, what's this guy, whoever it is, whoever it is, why are they now? Okay, now this is all showing up as private, by the way, so you can't look it up now. I just typed it in for you. Why is this showing up? Why did he play? Why did he buy these things? And what if it's really him? He has wins ranked into 2025 and shows past activity flagged in Israel. Seems like he immediately started playing Fortnite. Fortnite Chapter 1, Season 10 ran from August 1st, 2019 to October 13th, 2019. The profile went private shortly after going viral, which aligns with recent X discussions. Even though it's not officially confirmed, this person says it looks like they may be onto something. That's really strange. I don't know how to explain this to you, but I mean, if those things are real, that is really strange. And I don't have the answer for you on this. I'm not sure it actually confirms anything, but it is wild to say the least. What's your take on that? What do you think? What do you think really happened? Is it possible this guy is still alive? Either way, we know now, as I mentioned earlier, that Trump was not part of any of this. What's been discovered in the files now is that Trump was actually the first to blow the whistle back in 2006 on all of this. Trump was the first to say, hey, there's really something very wrong happening and you need to look into this. And he said Ghislaine Maxwell was the one who was helping Epstein do all of these things. Thomas Massey asked about some of this yesterday. The names of at least 6 men redacted in the Epstein files, according to Reps Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna. Massey said with a smile that one of the men is pretty high up in foreign government. Now we know that it's not just one, but there's a few of them, at least, pretty high up in foreign government. He says they need to do a little more homework. There are 6 men. We went in there for 2 hours. Congress now, as of yesterday, has been finally able to view all the unredacted files.
New information that did you see that was unredacted, or did it look pretty similar to what we've seen publicly?
I mean, what we're after is the men who Jeffrey Epstein trafficked women to. We want those names published. We're not out to embarrass people. And the problem is we went in there hoping to see that in 302 forms. What we found out is those 302 forms were redacted before they got to the DOJ. So, but our legislation directs the FBI, which is the agency that produced those 302 forms, to also produce these documents. The Attorney General is ultimately responsible for that production, so that's why we're here at the DOJ to view these files. But there needs to be more information given in those 302s. So I was disappointed we didn't find that. But it's also clear, just sort of as a checking their homework, that they need to do a little more homework. There are 6 men. We went in there for 2 hours. There's millions of files, right? And in a couple of hours, we found 6 men whose names have been redacted who are implicated in the way that the files are presented. And finally, the documents that they put up and decided for one reason or another they had to take back down, I was hoping to see those here. They didn't appear to be in the database that we were able to search. Those ostensibly are wholly redacted files now. We know they exist. They published them for a brief period of time and pulled them back. They need to answer to us as to do they intend to redact those files and put them back up and put them in the database so that we can search them and see if it was appropriate to take them back down from the website.
Are these men U.S. citizens? What fields do they work in? Is it finance? Is it political?
At least one is a U.S. citizen. At least one is a foreigner. And the other 3 or 4 have names. I'm not sure if they're foreign or U.S.
And which field do they work in? Is it finance, banking, political?
One is pretty high up in the foreign government.
And look at that look he gave Colin.
And some are there. One of the others is a pretty prominent individual. But I think that the point is that these 6 are just what we found in 2 hours of a review of the files that aren't redacted. The broader issue is why so many of the files they're getting are redacted in the first place. And until that becomes unredacted, the main things that they're sending to the career attorneys to review, I don't think we're going to have full compliance with the law, get to the question that most Americans want to know. Who were the rich and powerful people who went to this island? Did they rape underage girls? Did they know that underage girls were being paraded around? And after seeing this, I don't blame the U.S. attorneys, the assistant U.S. attorneys reviewing it. If they're reviewing redacted material, what are they supposed to do? But they're getting, it seems like, material that's already been redacted.
Interesting story. It continues to unfold here. Kana also talked to MSDNC 13 about this. Now, again, you got to be careful about the politicization because look at it, if this is true, the way this shakes out, it's happening on both sides. And the way Trump mentioned, and this is just has to be the way that you understand this. It's so clear. When Trump said this was a hoax, what he meant was the Democrats are trying to use this as a hoax. You've seen this play out since, trying to suck him in, pull him into this. It's just not the case. Yet there are people, both sides, and in all ways that have really found their names inside of this, and probably you're going to hear even more about that. But it's you got two guys, Khan and Massey, a Democrat and a Republican going after him.
6 men whose names you saw.
We are going to push the Justice Department to release those. They had photographs as marked of co-conspirators. Some of them are Americans, some of them are powerful people overseas, and there's no reason that they should be covering up those names.
Who are the...
Over on X, Mario Knopfel says, after Rep. Massey viewed the unredacted files and pushed for transparency, the DOJ has now unredacted billionaire Les Wexner's name. He appears as co-conspirator. This is a name that's been tossed around for years because Epstein had a relationship with him, it seems. He's the founder of L Brands, parent company of Victoria's Secret, by the way. He gave Epstein power of attorney over his finances and gifted him the largest private home in Manhattan. That's where that photo or that portrait of Bill Clinton in the blue dress was hanging. It was in that place. Accusers have long claimed Epstein used Victoria's Secret as a recruiting tool, with associates posing as modeling scouts to lure young women. For years, Wexner avoided scrutiny while Maxwell took the fall alone. He is now officially listed as a co-conspirator along Ghislaine. Wow. That is, if that's real, that is something. You know, the details of this stuff. And I get it. You know, the question is, but what's going to come from it all? You know, what really will come out of this? What will we see? You know, will we see the actual fruit, the accountability that we're all looking for? And I've said for a long time, I don't matter really, you know, who you are here, but like, I don't think anybody's going to be happy with what ends up. I just think at some point you're just not going to, you're people want to see things burn. And I just don't think it's ever going to be enough. I just don't think it's going to be enough. But in the meantime, it sure is something. Here's President Trump talking about it yesterday. I asked about how this is all played out.
Says he doesn't believe you're implicated in these files, but many of your friends and donors may be, and he says that's why the Justice Department is redacting them and slow walking the release. Is the Justice Department protecting?
He's not happy about this. I don't think he's happy about this whole situation. He thought Epstein was a creep in the first place. Did his best to shine the light on it. Now, again, this is his frustration. Everything else that he's been doing, everything he's trying to do for the country and for the world, quite frankly. Here we are wrapped up in this, and I get it.
Any friends or donors, sir? So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends. You know, it reminds me a little of...
By the way, that's exactly what I meant, or what he meant, when I told you how he sees this. He sees this as something else to pull your attention off that they're using right now, trying to pull him in, but also trying to pull your attention off everything that they've done with the economy, everything that they've done with the border, everything they've done with crime way down, and everything they've done, the things that they've done throughout the world. It's been incredible in the first year. That's why he's frustrated by this, and that's why you're going to hear this again.
The Kennedy situation, we gave him everything over and over again, more and more and more, and nobody's ever satisfied.
That's exactly what I told you. That's exactly what I said about it. Doesn't matter how much they give you. Doesn't matter how much you're going to put out there. I just have a feeling there's some people just aren't going to be happy either way, and that's what we're watching.
From what I understand, I could check, but from what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given, but it's really a Democrat hoax. Says he doesn't believe you're implicated.
So that's the other part of how this is all going to play out. Meanwhile, I will tell you this: there is some more comment on some of this stuff coming out. Congressman Ro Khanna is saying He thinks this stuff might actually help bring down the monarchy in the UK
next week.
Mr. Cameron, a British question, if I may. What do you say to the man formerly known as Prince Andrew and to Peter Mandelson with regard to giving evidence to your committee?
Mandelson may bring down the whole government, from what I hear. He just engaged in terrible behavior. I mean, the allegations are very serious that he was working for Gordon Brown and then feeding information about UK possibly buying euros and having Epstein trade on that. I mean, it is a deeply, deeply troubling. And Epstein's, I saw this interview with Epstein's former girlfriend talking about how someone is a loser if they weren't mentioned in the Epstein files. It's a window into the elite impunity, this club. And by the way, I think this is the most vulnerable the British monarchy has ever been. I mean, I heard they were asking the Queen questions about the Epstein class. They ought to ask the King and Queen questions, and maybe this will be the end of the monarchy.
Wow. What a statement. That's interesting. But the involvement of some of these most powerful people, not just in our country, but throughout the world, has been something to watch. Congresswoman Bowe.
Congresswoman, are you among the members who got to see the unredacted files today?
Yes, I saw some of them, not all of them, obviously. I'll be going back tomorrow to see more.
Any reaction?
She's coming out like I wouldn't have recognized her. That's Boebert.
To know what you've seen so far?
I think that there's folks who are definitely implicated and co-conspirators. And, I don't think everyone there that was talking about underage girls being trafficked are victims.
Got it. And do you support any clemency for Ghislaine Maxwell? She was saying that
I do not. Okay. I think Ghislaine Maxwell should get more time, and she should definitely be in a harsher prison than what she's in. It's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, speaking of her, I want to share that with you, what she said. There was one other thing we didn't share earlier today that I should probably play for you. Rep. Anna Polina Luna was asked about this as well, and on her way. It looks like they were all on their way out yesterday.
Congresswoman, real quick, you said that you do not support at all Ghislaine Maxwell getting any clemency for her testimony. And why is it important for her to be held accountable?
Well, because according to the files that we all saw, she was engaged in the trafficking and also rape of young women and potentially children. I don't think that she deserves any special treatment. She's a monster.
Yeah. Speaking of Ghislaine, what has she said? Oh man, and this is going to be interesting. Over on CNBC, the breaking news headline: Trump Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick admits visiting Epstein Island during family vacation. That's not going to end well. And Lutnick's a guy that's done a lot for the administration, but it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Trump bashed Epstein to Palm Beach police during his interview. And what did Ghislaine say? Ghislaine actually came out and said that Trump had nothing to do. By the way, she does want a deal. But Trump had nothing to do with any of this nonsense. So, interesting to watch. And again, like I said, I'd love to have accountability here. I'd love to have the answers. I'd love the transparency. But I'm telling you, I don't know how much we're going to get. I don't know. I don't know how much of it we're going to get as this plays out. Hey, I got to share this with you before we go today, at least. We do get good news. We're back on Facebook. So you can come back and watch us here tomorrow. Check with the show wherever. And of course, the updates coming throughout the day. We'll make sure we're keeping you up to date about that as well. But the good news, back on Facebook. And I don't know if you saw this, but this is exactly how you handle. I got to be careful because there might be some language here. But there are videos flying around of people on the left who are so upset that like bars that they went to watch the Super Bowl. Now this is hilarious. They went to watch the Super Bowl and they didn't get the Bad Bunny halftime show. Instead, they got They got the All-American TPUSA Kid Rock halftime show. And these people lost it over it. Here's the bar owner telling the guy to kick rocks. He said, not only do I want you to get out of here, but don't come back.
I came here for the halftime show. The whole experience. Why aren't you playing Bad Bunny at the halftime show?
Yeah. Look at the guy's face. What are you talking about? Again, I'm warning you. I don't know if there's going to be language here, so please be warned if you got little ears around. If you're in a place that probably shouldn't be playing this live and loud, just know there may be some language here.
Because I put this halftime show on. Because this is what the majority. If you're filming me, get that out of my face.
I'm filming you. Why are you doing that? Why don't you play Bad Bunny?
Because the majority.
I'm gonna pay.
Get out.
I'm gonna pay first.
Luke, this is why.
I gotta pay
This is
first.
why I said no.
I gotta pay first. But I'm asking a question. I'm not being violent. Yeah, I gotta pay first. I shouldn't pay because I came here for the full experience.
What's your tab under?
The fullest Super Bowl experience.
Okay, what's your tab under?
All right? I came here for the full Super Bowl experience. Are you the bouncer? Are you the manager? Are you the bouncer or the manager?
He's the manager.
All right, I'm speaking to him, not you. You do what you do, and I talk to him.
You don't
I
tell him
came
what
here
to
for
do.
the Super Bowl experience. The full Super Bowl
This is the
experience.
halftime show.
This is not the halftime
It
show.
is the halftime show.
No, this is not. This
It's
is
called
not.
the halftime show.
Can you see? He goes, are you filming me? Of course. Of course the guy had to complain.
We're at the zoo, and the zoo refuses to play Bad Bunny for some reason during the halftime show. They want to play somebody else. All right?
You know, the guy said, this is what my customers want to hear, majority of my customers.
I'm going to put this on my social media.
There you go, baby.
Good.
All right?
You saw the owner's face. He's like, oh yeah, sure. He said, good.
There you go. There's your tab. You have a good night. Thank you.
He said, I appreciate that. I may gain some customers. I guarantee he will.
You might get customers, you might lose a lot of customers. Because you might look
Nobody's going to lose customers because you didn't play Bad Bunny. Nobody cares.
like a
People that like Bad Bunny don't even care. This guy's trying to make a point.
Guess we'll see.
He wants to go viral with his phone out.
all right?
I guess
You
we'll
might
see.
look like a racist.
So do you.
Racist? There's nothing racist about not because his customers rather like this music than they like. That's not race. It's music. It's completely these whole and by the way, nobody cares anymore. Do you notice this guy? Arms folded, doesn't care. You call me a racist, it doesn't matter. That whole pejorative, that whole thing is flown its course. We don't care. We don't care anymore.
Why?
Watch it sting.
I'm not racist.
Why?
You're complaining about the show.
This show right here is
All
not
right,
the show.
can we do me
This
a
is not
favor?
part of the Super
I
Bowl.
have a bunch of other things that we have
I
to
came here for
do.
the Super Bowl experience. This is not part of the Super Bowl.
So don't come
Okay.
back.
This was not promoted.
Now the woman said, maybe his wife or his girlfriend. He's like, I gotta get this guy out of here before something bad happens. That's hilarious. I don't know who that guy is at the zoo, but good for him. This is how you handle these people. Don't give an inch. Don't give an inch. That's exactly how you handle it. Next time, he said, but I'm going to post this on social media. I hope you do. Thank you. He said, thank you. I might gain some customers. I have a feeling the guy's place is going to be packed. All right. That's it for today. We're back on Facebook. We're back up. And of course, I call it Flake Book. We're back better than ever. See you back here tomorrow morning and wishing you the best, folks. God bless.